Hi everyone, my name is Peter. Welcome to my second tutorial about atomic theory, and in this section we are looking at atomic number, mass number, and an isotope. Um, just to begin with the atomic number, an atomic number is the number of protons in an element, and mass number is the number of protons and neutrons in an element, and an isotope is an element with the same atomic number but different mass numbers. In my hands here I have a periodic table, so we are going to refer more about with this periodic table. So to begin with the atomic number, to break it down more further, an atomic number, take it like to be your social security number. It's a number that identifies an element. So in chemistry, most of the times they may not tell you the name of an element, but they will tell you atomic number 20. So when you look at the periodic table, atomic number 20 is calcium. So you just know that they are referring to calcium. And for the mass number is always the number of protons and neutrons. So if you know the atomic number, then you can look up for the mass number. Usually the mass number is the biggest number on the element monography. So here, for example, calcium is atomic number 20. And the mass number is 40. So usually we write the mass number on top and the atomic number on the bottom. So since you know that the atomic number is the number of protons, whereas the mass number is the number of protons plus neutrons. So an exam can be like, can you find the number of protons in this element? You will say, okay, this number, the mass number is the number of protons plus neutrons. So the number of protons plus the number of neutrons is equal to 40. But I already know the atomic number, which is the number of protons, and it's 20. So 20. So when you subtract 20 on both sides, you get the number of neutrons to be 20. So calcium has 20 protons and 20 neutrons, giving us the mass number of 40. So this is how they can set for you an exam or an exercise with atomic and mass number. And on the other hand, when you look at the isotope, the word iso means similar. So they have the same atomic number. So, but they differ in mass numbers. For example, calcium can exist as calcium because it's already 20, because 20 identifies the calcium, and 41. So meaning that this type of calcium has one more proton than this calcium. Sorry, one more neutron than this calcium. So these two are isotopes. They have the same atomic number. Atomic number identifies the element, and it's number 20, but they have different mass numbers. So that's what we call an isotope. Then in another section, how they can manipulate this, they can ask you to identify the element when they give you only one of these. And there's another general rule you have to know, that the number of protons must be equal to the number of electrons. Because since these are positively charged, they must balance with the negatively charged elements. So if you have calcium 20, that means you have 20 electrons with 20 protons. So you have to watch out for this. In most of the exercises, like the one I'm going to display here, shows how they can manipulate these elements and they generate like a number of testable questions. So this is one of the way they can ask you to identify an element. So now, in this first example, they're telling us that this element has 17 electrons. So if you have 17 electrons, then remember the other rule that we said that the number of protons must be equal to the number of electrons. So therefore, we must have 17 protons. So if you have 17, then you go in your periodic table. Element number 17 is chlorine. You've already identified the chlorine. It's element number 17. And it has 18 neutrons. So if it has 18 neutrons, here they can ask you to write the isotope. So now, it is chlorine and has 18 neutrons. So 18 plus 17 will give you something like chlorine for 35. So this is the isotope of 35 of chlorine. So you've identified the element and which type of isotope it is. Then on this second one, they only give you the number of protons, which is 8. So 8 is the same as looking at here, atomic number 8, which is oxygen. So that is oxygen. Number of electrons must be equal to number of protons. So this must also be what? 8. So if this is 8, 8, so the number of neutrons in oxygen, you check them here, they are always around 16. So if you have 16, sorry, this is, so this is 8 because the mass number is 16. So remember, mass number is equal to number of protons plus neutrons. You know that protons are 8, so therefore the neutrons must be 16 minus 8, which is 8. So this is also 8. And it is oxygen 16. Then for the last one, you look at, there are 6 electrons. So 6 electrons must be equal to 6 protons. Atomic number 6 is carbon, and it's an isotope of 14. Sorry, this was supposed to be 6, 8. So if you have 8, so this will give us carbon 14. So 8 neutrons, 6 protons, this plus this must give you 14. Then the atomic number always gives you the name of the element. So this is one of the ways they can examine you with this section. So just a recap: atomic number, number of protons, mass number, number of protons plus neutrons, and an isotope is an element with the same atomic number but different mass numbers, just like we saw on calcium 41, 20, and calcium 20, 40. So thank you for tuning in. Tune in next time for my next section on the periodic table.